start off the season 1-0. What did you like about the win over Western Michigan just overall?
Yeah, I think, the effort the guys played with, I did think that showed us, especially on the defensive side from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. The start, I think, was really important offensively to be able to take that lead and get the crowd into it. That first half, some execution, longer drives, right? This wasn't just one play for a touchdown, multiple play, longer drives. So you liked kind of that. Special teams wise, especially in game ones, there can be some mishaps in special teams. I thought we were pretty solid throughout the night, changed the game with our punt unit on a couple of those, pinning them deep in their own area. So a lot to like there. Second half on offense, some things to clean up. Just our consistency wasn't nearly where it was in the first half, and so that's what, learning a bunch from game one and trying to improve on in game two.
Yeah, defensively, you mentioned going into that game that they have a running back, Jalen Buckley, who's like a Big Ten back. Yep. You guys held him to 21 yards, and you played 30 guys on defense. Is that sort of what we can expect throughout the season?
Well, we're hoping to do that in regards, especially on the run game side, right? I think you try to make people one-dimensional. Did a nice job in the run game because he's a good back. Their quarterbacks could carry it, and that was a concern, and they got out on us a couple of times, but really was happy with the response defensively too. They made a couple plays, and then to respond back and keep them out of the end zone was huge.
And then for your running backs with Mekhi and Brandon, what did you like overall about the way they were running the ball?
I thought they carried it with some confidence. Kind of their first time getting the majority of the carries in a college game. Mekhi got us started early. Brandon gets a longer touchdown run, so that was good to see. There'll be some learning too on there, just trusting some of the things going on up front. But both those guys, I thought made it physical, did a good job with carrying the ball security wise. So some good things there.
Both those guys are guys that you recruited originally when you were at Oregon State, correct?
Correct.
How did you, discover them? Was it like kind of one with the other? Because I know they only had a high school 20 miles apart.
Yeah. It starts with, Coach Bonifant, our running back coach, does a nice job evaluating and building relationships, getting to know these guys. State of Texas in general has got some good players, both of them out of that state. And so that was the initial kind of identification. Then you build a relationship with guys over a longer period of time. So we're glad they're here.
How do they complement one another too? I feel like Mekhi is more of like that physical runner in a way too.
I think both of them can be physical. I think probably side to side, Mekhi's got a little bit more to him. I think Brandon, when he gets himself behind his pads, can be pretty physical. He's a bigger back. Both of them pretty good catching the ball, and so I think they complement each other that way of just being well-rounded.
You mentioned in your press conference earlier about with Aiden, you liked the way he played in the first half, and you said he had his eyes down a little bit too much.
I think it's critical at a quarterback. You're playing with your eyes up, and then as that second half went on, and protection, really they got on edges, didn't do a great job in protection. And I think just knowing the competitor and talking to him, he's really hard on himself. Well, there's a couple snaps. He's got to trust what's going on in front of him and keep his eyes up down the field, not worrying about what the guys in front are doing.
Did you get a sense too that he was a little more comfortable, whether it was last year's season opener compared to this one, or just last year in general?
I do, because that energy early on. The ovation he gets on the just the announcement of the starting lineups from that student section. There was a bunch of energy there. I thought he was pretty cool, composed, competing, watching him carry the ball a couple of times, extending. That's part of his game. I thought he did a nice job with the ball, his decision making. Right, there wasn't a ton of that potentially could have been picked. He was on the interception side clean. So there was growth there.
Him and Amari Kelly, I know him and Nick Marsh obviously have this big relationship, but where have you seen that relationship with Amari too also blossom?
Amari can make some plays, and I look at some of those short throws we throw to Amari. Nick Marsh is the one blocking for him. Nick and McCray, both those guys did a nice job in the run game, right? That doesn't show up in the stat book, but those guys being great teammates, blocking down the field, actually created a couple of those creases in the run game.
What has Amari brought to this group? Obviously, he's a veteran guy. Nick's, the younger guy, expected to be this, big-time receiver for you guys. But what has Amari done to maybe help Nick out, too?
I think he's just having, Batman and Robin type of thing. Amari's, pretty explosive, good hands. I think he's got some leadership qualities in that room because of his experience and his voice. He's pretty competitive. You always want to have a few guys bring some energy and a voice to that side of the ball, and Amari's doing it.
Now, as you get ready for Boston College, obviously an opponent you played last year, what stands out about them that maybe is different or maybe similar to last year?
I think there's some similarities just watching their game one. Well coached, schematically challenging you, physical on both sides of the ball. Receiver play, they got some good wideouts, and the guy had a good game against us last year. That's similar. I think each year is new, right? It's a new, different quarterback. Each staff, have some continuity there, but there's always some new tweaks.
Where do you feel like too that game is that sort of last year's game motivating this group now heading into this week?
We don't do a ton of like, hey, last year this happened, so that should add to our motivation. We definitely learned from last year. We got a decent amount of new players, right, who didn't experience it. Road game, but we're definitely going to be watching that tape, schematics, situations that came up where they're talking 2-minute, the minute finish, ball security, and the special team side. So we're trying to learn from it.
Seemed like that was too a game where Aiden, afterwards he learned a lot from that one. Maybe started to turn that corner with the interceptions. Do you get a sense that was the game that kind of maybe sparked maybe some growth?
I think there's some pain in the game because of a couple of plays in that one. I think he digested a lot of the first half of the season and learning from. And so, yeah, we're a repeat opponent, and there was particulars to that game, but I think it's more on the first half of the season.
Obviously, you guys played on Friday. You get Saturday off at all? Do you get time to just watch college football, enjoy it a little bit?
I actually did. I watched it a little bit on Saturday, seeing some other games, and it was fun. And, you never take off your coaching hats. I'm watching a lot of this. Game one issues, whether substitutions, penalty-wise, balls on the ground. That's why looking back on our game, feeling pretty solid about just how clean it was in regards to penalties, not as sloppy as some of the games I saw.
Yeah, why is it too? A lot of coaches will say, the biggest jump is week 1 to week 2. Why do you get a sense that is like the week that you see the biggest growth?
I think there's something to playing game ones, and so all of the procedure of playing the game, right? Substitution, play clock, crowd noise, TV timeouts, like all of that is hard to recreate exactly in practice, and so you experience it once, and there's a bunch to learn from on how you handle the procedure, obviously how you execute the procedure, and so when you're playing it the second time, there's a lot of that hopefully is cleaned up.